welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Take a look at my book, Obama, the Postmodern Coup, The Making of a Manchurian Candidate. I was looking at the Obama literature this week, and turns out there's a book called Obama, the Manchurian President. There's one called Obama, the Postmodern President. Well, mine was Obama, the Postmodern Coup, The Making of a Manchurian Candidate. Rather than buy these later, weaker studies, go directly to the source. Obama, the Postmodern Coup, The Making of a Manchurian Candidate. Buy it at Amazon. Buy it through Progressive Press. Buy it. You want to support the work of the broadcast. Get those books. You do yourself a favor. You'll be able to understand what's happening in the world. Pay special attention to the distinguished essay on the internal workings of the color revolution, the Gene Sharp, Albert Einstein Institute, Colonel Robert Helvey, the people who have done this, right, starting from Belgrade in the year 2000. The Atpor, who remain a kind of entrepreneurial subcontractor of the CIA in doing these things. But now let's look at the larger strategic front where nuclear war is at least a theoretical possibility, and that's Pakistan-China. I say Pakistan-China because after the past couple of weeks, it's clear that there is an operative alliance between China and Pakistan, also between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has arrangements with Russia, so you get the idea. This is now the big stuff. This is the arena where the fate of the world is decided. As a preface, 3 buildings in South China have been bombed in the past 48 hours. South China, supposedly a local matter. We're wondering, is it that group of fanatics from Tibet, or is it the Uyghur World Organization out there in Chinese Xinjiang, Chinese Turkestan? We've heard a lot from Rabia Kadir and her World Uyghur Front out here in Fairfax. This is a typical kind of organization that you find, within 50 miles of CIA headquarters. You'll find them. Now, the update on Pakistan. Hillary Clinton just arrived in Pakistan. That by itself is a kind of a provocation. We also should bear in mind that assassination of the Saudi diplomat that was carried out about 10 days ago, which is a manner of striking at the heart of this alliance. A Saudi diplomat in Pakistan represents precisely that convergence and alliance that the U.S. and the British are determined to sabotage. Now, last Sunday, big attack on Faisal Air Force Base. This includes a naval air station. I believe we're in the area of Karachi, Pakistan, and this is the naval air station connected to Faisal Air Force Base, where the Pakistanis run their anti-submarine warfare aircraft. These are your 4-engine propeller planes, or turboprops, the Orions, supplied by the U.S., and they have a limited number of these, and of that number, a very large proportion was destroyed in the attack. In other words, this was not some crude local attack, but it was an attack with very, very precise target selection going on. So the attempt being, therefore, to blind Pakistan to the submarines of the United States, of India, of Israel, who knows how many others, any and all submarines. Pakistan is going to have an increasingly hard time of knowing where they are. So that's an important vulnerability. What you're essentially seeing is that the pattern of the terrorism is guided by a strategic plan. These are not random attacks by local fanatics attacking targets of opportunity, but it's a point-by-point series of attacks designed to weaken the country strategically, vis-a-vis India, vis-a-vis the U.S., vis-a-vis others. Also, in the middle of that Faisal attack, you had Chinese technicians held hostage. This is a very interesting situation. On that Faisal Air Force Base, you have U.S. military personnel who work there, and you have Chinese military or quasi-personnel that live there, contractors, whatever they are, Wujin representatives that are there. That could have gotten very big, right? Suppose these terrorists, so-called, had decided to execute some of the Chinese. That would have escalated the crisis, but the fact that they could have undoubtedly has been received in Beijing. Now, Obama, on his way to Britain earlier in the week, had an interview with the BBC, and he said, basically, I will always violate the sovereignty of Pakistan if I want to. I have no hesitation to violate the sovereignty of Pakistan or any other country when I'm defending the independence of the U.S. national interest. So he is unreconstructed, and that confirms what we heard from Grossman and others saying the U.S. will continue to violate Pakistani airspace at will. And we've had more Predator drone attacks, these odious and cowardly exercises. The response from General Kayani on the Pakistan side, get 1/2 of the U.S. troops out of the country. That's maybe 100 of 200 or 200 of 400, something like this. That leaves the larger question, how about the 7,000 plus CIA agents that are active, many of them unknown, unidentified by the Pakistani government? We've also had David Headley, the DEA CIA agent, testifying at a trial in Chicago. I think it's somebody else's trial, saying, oh, yeah, the ISI was up to their neck in the Mumbai attack. But look who's telling you this. The guy who basically ran the attack, who chose the targets, the indispensable key man in that attack is Headley, and he's from the CIA. And he says, don't look at the CIA being involved, look at the ISI being involved. Do you smell a fault? I hope so, dear listeners. Now, the U.S. had set up essentially terrorist control centers, I would call them. These are called intelligence fusion centers, 2 in Peshawar, 1 in Quetta. And those 3 have now been shut down by the Pakistani side. In the last 36 hours, we've had a fairly large bomb attack on the Pakistani side of the border, 25 dead. Anyway, you get the idea. This is continuing, and Hillary says that the U.S.-Pakistan relation is now at a turning point, and there have to be changes. The vanity, the arrogance, the unreality of these people is astounding. But there it is. So we are drifting towards something horrendous in this regard. Remember, any false flag attack, especially nuclear or dirty bomb, in Europe or North America especially, but anywhere, this has to be a priori the prime suspect, U.S., CIA, simply because of the pattern of things that are going on. Oh, yes, now, the U.S. says they get a chance to look again at bin Laden's villa. Search them before they go in and see what they're going to plant, would be the thing I would say to the Pakistanis. So, in terms of the Middle East, I think the general war danger in the Middle East is, on the whole, much lower. But Netanyahu, during his performance here in Washington this week, says that the Iron Dome low-level anti-rocket system is working. Netanyahu making extravagant claims for the Iron Dome system. We'll be back in a minute on World Crisis Radio.